I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
86.
Did you
1928, right? Do the math.
1928.
Do the math. 1928, yeah.
I can't do the math in my head. I got to rely on you for
Yeah,
that.
86.
Where were you born?
Right across the street on the other side of that church.
And,
7 Calhoun.
Next street over is Calhoun Street,
right?
named after John C.
John C. Calhoun.
Yeah,
Who's
you
he?
heard of him, right?
Who is he? Come on, who is he?
Huh?
Who's John C. Calhoun?
I don't know who kept John.
I do. I just want you to tell me. You just kicked me.
You never heard of the great debates between John C. Calhoun, Daniel Webster, and the senator from, what's the other one's name? The 3 great debaters
Right.
of the, I guess that would have been, that was been the 19th century, I guess, right? John C. Calhoun, you know, was the guy that he was a senator from South Carolina back in the 1820s and 30s, you know, and he was the author of the term interposition.
What does that mean?
If it ain't good for us, we don't want it.
So you were born
The
like
concept of states' rights, the right, the 10th Amendment, state protection of state rights, interposition.
So when you say you were born a block over, there was a hospital over there way back when, or were you born at home?
The hospital.
Come on.
No, 1928.
Born at home with a midwife?
I presume, yeah.
You don't remember?
Maybe Miss Janie Chaplin or Mammy Jane. We had midwives here, yeah, in Bluffton.
How many bedrooms are in your house? How many bedrooms are in that house?
I don't recall now, but I think I remember sleeping up in the loft. We had a loft up there, and there were, you know, several of us there at any one time. You know.
How many siblings do you have?
There were 11 of us.
Where are you in the birth order?
I think I'm, what, 7? Let's see, John, Philip, sister, Margaret, Ursula, Buster. I'm 6.
6.
No, I'm 7th. That's right, I'm 7th.
7 out of 11.
Come from the top, yeah.
So of the whole 11, how many of them stayed in Bluffton? How many of them went away like you did?
Well, all of us,
Went away?
yeah.
All of them went away to boarding school and then went away for jobs, or?
Well, all of us had to go away, yeah, because all of us were, none of us finished high school here in Bluffton, because we all were out of high school by 1951. Because Dan, my youngest brother, ended up going to Penn School. You heard of the
Penn School
Penn
up
School?
at Penn Center on St.
Yeah,
Helens?
yeah, Penn Center, yeah. Yeah, he and my 2 younger sisters ended up going there. And they were the ones left behind me. And so none of them finished here. And all of us had to leave home. Because none of us finished school here. And of course, you know, fortunately a few of us were able to go to college. Only the older boys that went into the service. I was too young to go into the Second World War, you know, which was, you know, in 41. And my 3 older brothers went. And so none of us really stayed home. But we weren't trained to leave home. We were, our training was to really stay here.
And to stay here to do, if you were to envision what that would have been like, what would you have done if you stayed? Where did everybody
I was prepared. I had 2 sisters already teaching here in Bluffton.
In the public school?
Yeah, in colored school, and which is the present Michael C. Riley Elementary School now, but I had two sisters, my two older sisters were already here. And when I finished college, you know, I really intended to, and everybody was looking forward to my coming here and, you know, teaching here in Bluffton.
So you thought you'd be a teacher at school here in Bluffton?
And, yeah, in Bluffton.
Well, let's go back to when you were 21 and you wanted to enter the law school at the University of South Carolina. What motivated you to do that and what happened?
Well, I don't want to hear that story.
Yes, I do.
That's too long.
No, I want to hear that. What happened?
Well, you know, that's why we did not stay home. Because I told you, we were trained to really come and do our thing back where we started from. And our philosophy was go to try to get some education, get whatever you can, and come back and serve your community. And like I told you, I already had two sisters teaching here in Bluffton. You know where they retired from? Teaching? Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Because when I graduated from college in 1950, I had this notion, I said, why not apply to the University of South Carolina Law School? Now, I had already finished college, I had all my certifications, you know, everything with the State Department of Education, and it was a no-brainer. I was going to come back home and teach school. Because all of our teachers heretofore had been brought into Bluffton from different places, you know. We didn't have any homegrown men, black men, colored men, you know, to do that. Our teachers came from Charleston, Columbia, Orange, wherever, but never here. So I was, hey, ready to do that. But I had this notion about going to the University of South Carolina Law School because the Supreme Court had ruled in the Herman Sweat case. Herman Sweat versus the University of Texas Law School in Arlington, Texas, in 1948, ruled that Herman Sweat was entitled to go to the better or the best of the law schools in the state of Texas rather than be confined to one room, one professor, no library, law school at Prairie View.
Prairie View at Black College, or Black Law School?
In Texas, yeah, that was the South Carolina state in Texas. And so Sweat had applied to go to the University of Texas. You know, back then, like those boys had applied to go to the University of South Carolina back in 1946 or something like that. And they refused to let him go. So the court said that, well, you either have to admit him or provide equal, you know, an opportunity. So they set up this little one, and they had done that in South Carolina, see?
Set up the same thing, a one-room school.
Well, one room, one professor, no library. Say, okay,
There, that's
you
equal.
study law here, you know, at Prairie View, rather than go to Arlington, you know, the city, the University of Texas. And they had gone through the same thing in South Carolina. They had the same deal. They brought a professor from North Carolina College up in North Carolina to be the law professor at South Carolina State. And, you know, they didn't have any library there either. And he was the only professor. Now so in 1948, the Supreme Court, Sweat still challenged them. And went all the way to the Supreme Court. In 1948, the Supreme Court ruled that Sweat was entitled to go to the better or the best of the, if one was better than the other, he was entitled to go to whichever one because he was a citizen of Texas. And he should not have been confined to that one room, one professor, no library, law library, school. And he won, see? So when I graduated in 1950 and I was all set to come back home and teach school and, you know, do my thing and whatever. And because I'd already married my wife, see, I'd only gotten married my sophomore year, and we were already married. So when I finished school, and but I I said, why not? He said, I want to go to law school. I'm going to apply to go to University of South Carolina Law School. And what they used to say, oh, hit the fan in South Carolina. So I came, I came home that summer. Matter of fact, when the headlines came out about it, the governor of the state of South Carolina, which was Governor Strom Thurmond at that time, came back and said no. Told him, and it was all along, and they boycotted me, and I couldn't teach school.